Go.
Bicycles at the state capitol were a Denver symbol. Auto pollution is a major problem here in the country's 17th most polluted city, so high schoolers pedal to show there's another way to travel. The altitude increases car engines' pollution output. It doesn't do a thing to bikes.
That is a clip from a CBS News special that aired April 22nd, 1970, the first Earth Day. It was a time when big cars and trucks were burning leaded gas and factories were putting all kinds of things we now know to be unhealthy into the air. It's estimated 20 million Americans took part in those first demonstrations across the country. Well, 55 years later, the events are still happening, big and small, like this one in our area today at Chesterbrook Academy. The kids were given 100 red worms to put into their classroom garden. Those worms will help make the soil healthier as they grow herbs and vegetables. And that is one of the lessons of this day. Everyone can do something. It is what the Innovation Barn in Charlotte is all about, finding ways to improve sustainability in our city. We've shown you some examples in the past, how they're taking everyday plastic like those 4-pack toppers on beer cans and turning them into bricks that can be used in, well, building just about anything. So as you might imagine, the barn is a busy place on this Earth Day, actually all week, with a program called Clean the Queen. Amy Ossaker is the executive director.
Every day we have 2 shifts of volunteers, so we got a whole bunch of people out there right now making sound panels, picking up litter, separating out the recyclables from the trash, and then Saturday's the big celebration.
A couple days after this, what kinds of things are you finding? What are people just tossing all the time?
Ew, we don't need to go there, do we?
It's nasty, right?
It's nasty. But they're also trash throwing away things that are valuable, like aluminum cans or PET that can be recycled. So it's kind of a mix of 50% really nasty, gross trash, and then 50% recyclable stuff.
Can people still get involved and help out this week?
Oh, absolutely. Go to our website. If you go to Innovation Barn CLT, there's a Clean the Queen, gives a whole schedule. You can still volunteer as an individual or as a team.
You mentioned another event coming up here at the end of the week, end of the weekend. Tell us more about that.
So Saturday is our big celebration. So the first thing we have is our second chance sample giveaway. So all of the designers, architects in town clean out their libraries and bring us carpet fabric or carpet samples, fabric samples, paint, you name it. We fill up our hub and then we give it away Saturday morning starting at 9 a.m. And literally we've given 32 tons of samples away.
If these things weren't being repurposed, if teachers, et cetera, weren't taking these kinds of things, where would they end up?
Landfill.
Yeah.
32 tons today that's not going to landfill and getting a second life.
How do you turn this, though, into something that's not just a one-off, right? And that it's something sustainable that we all sort of keep top of mind?
Well, I mean, education is where we start and getting people excited about it. So one of the things we try to do here at the barn is we're always changing it up. You know, every time you come, there's something new to see. Like our plastics lab, just looking at the fact that we took PacTex, you know, the beer carriers, and we made like cool Taylor Swift bracelets. When people see that you can take this and make something new, their creativity gets going and then they think, what can I do next? So I think the more we talk about it, the more we expose people to it, it's like that snowball. It just builds momentum and size.
And it makes a lot of sense. So if you want to get involved still this week, just head to innovationbarnclt.com. Coming up next here.